Located in Chapel Hill, North Carolina, the UNCKenanFlagler Business School at UNC was established in 1919 as the Department of Commerce and was renamed UNCKenanFlagler in 1991 to honor two families who were major benefactors of the school. The 191,000 square foot McColl building opened in 1997, completing the modern campus. UNC at Chapel Hill is purported to be the oldest state-run university in the country, and along with Raleigh and Durham makes up part of the famed Research Triangle. The Research Triangle originally referred to the universities in the area, including UNC, NC State, and Duke, although it has taken on a more general geographic meaning over the decades. Chapel Hill is centrally located about 3 hours driving from Richmond, 4.5 hours from Washington, D.C., and about 4 hours to the beach at Virginia Beach, and 2.5 hours to the beach at Wilmington, North Carolina. The university was founded in 1789, and the name Chapel Hill refers to a chapel built in 1752, which is now home to the Carolina Inn. The hotel does not occupy the same building as the original chapel. Business Week recently ranked UNC as the 11th top business school in the nation. Forbes placed it as the 15th, the U.S. News & World Report placed it as the 20th, and in 2007 the Wall Street Journal placed UNC as the 6th top school in the country. Internationally, The Economist placed UNC as the 39th top school, while the Financial Times placed it as the 46th. Let's meet some students.
My name is Rachel Kaufman, and I'm a first year, so we're just back for a second mod of classes. I went to Cornell undergrad and actually have an environmental science background, and was in DC working for a conservation nonprofit and then as a contractor for the Environmental Protection Agency. So one of the things that brought me to UNC is their concentration in sustainable business. And it's been really great. A lot of us actually, I found a lot of people who are also interested in that. And the other thing that brought me here was the great people that I met when I was visiting. I just really like the students here, and that has held true.
I'm Christina Benz. I'm also first year at UNCKenanFlagler, and I went to undergrad at Indiana University. I'm here for a marketing concentration, also looking at potential career switch into real estate, which is the strength of this school. I'm also interested in sustainable enterprise. I came here from San Francisco, California, where I spent 5 years in corporate marketing and branding and volunteering for a nonprofit which helped to get local youth outdoors. So got a little bit of experience in sustainability, and I'm looking forward to taking some classes in it.
Hi, my name is Tejas Madhuskar. I'm from Seattle, Washington. Lived there for several years before coming to business school. And before coming to school, I did IT consulting for telecom and retail sectors. And I think it's a great community here at UNCKenanFlagler.
My name is Adam Cogley. I'm from Boston, Massachusetts, and I came to UNC mainly because of the culture here. I think is well suited to my personality. Very sort of laid back, personable environment.
Hi, my name is Jason Jenkins. I'm a first year student here at UNC Chapel Hill. Prior to coming back to graduate school, I did my undergraduate at Clemson University. Upon graduating, I went to Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, where I worked for Johnson & Johnson for 4 years. When I was looking at coming back to graduate school, I definitely wanted to come back home. I'm originally from South Carolina, so I wanted to come to a southern school. And when I researched top graduate schools, I found that UNC was definitely among the elite. One of the big reasons I came back here is just the collegiality, the good feeling of the students, the faculty, the staff. It's, a world-renowned, top-ranked academic curriculum. So when I looked at the two, I saw that, I couldn't probably be, the merger of a good school, good academic program, and just all-around good collegiate feel. So that's why I came to UNC.
Why do you want an MBA?
I'm actually looking for either a management consulting kind of job or a general management for a well-diversified company.
So originally I came here thinking I kind of wanted to do what I call green marketing, sort of marketing of more sustainable, environmentally friendly products. I'm figuring out how to get those, the customers sort of want that. I'm still looking at that, but also I've sort of switched focus to more about business practices and how increasing sort of changing business practices can both make them more environmentally friendly and more profitable by increasing efficiencies and reducing waste and things of that nature.
I'm looking forward to future in management consulting. I would like to work for maybe not a big firm, probably a medium-sized firm.
I think there are 5 to 10 core schools that focus on sustainability, and UNCKenanFlagler was ranked 8th in the sort of sustainability annual report, which is now something they're doing on schools as well as certain companies. And there's a lot of students here who are involved in it. They sort of teach you to run a business to the triple bottom line, which includes not only profitability but also sustainability in the areas of environmental and social. Am I missing anything? Nope. So as far as that translating into a job, similarly to Rachel, I've considered green marketing. For instance, working for like an REI, which markets clothing and outdoor. It's an outdoor outfitter, but they market on recycled paper, and they wouldn't market on like a really glossy catalog, which couldn't be recycled, etc.
I would add one of the things that UNC has is the Center for Sustainable Enterprise right next door, and that's been a great resource just talking to some of those people. And I've been told that we're not crazy, that there actually is a market out for this in a lot of companies. And I just got back from, there was a marketing career trek in New York City, and there were some companies that spoke to the sort of what they're doing.
Right now, I'm currently a general management student with a focus in HR. So upon graduating, I'm looking to get into leadership development programs with an emphasis in HR, where I can come in an organization, impact change by allocating human resource capital. So definitely, I feel like UNC, with the curriculum, the staff, is prime for me to come in, learn about different organizational strategies, and then apply that after I graduate in the HR setting.
Would you describe the student body as a diverse group? How have you found your fellow students?
I found students from a lot of different backgrounds, and that's really enriched my experience at the business school, whether it's case studies or doing different project works. I think I've made quite a lot of close friends, which people I think I'll know for most of my career or for the rest of my life. And students are very smart. They come from a lot of different backgrounds, and I think it's added to my experience in the school.
The caliber has been outstanding. Diversity at UNC is actually notably better than I think it was at other schools, which is one of the reasons why I chose UNC. We have a much higher percentage of female students and international students, especially.
The breakdown comes from all across the U.S., the Northeast, the West, the South, Midwest, and then we have, a good contingent of international students as well. But I would say, based on like the last numbers that I saw, about 25% of our students are from the South. So from that mix, you just get students from different backgrounds, different industries, different nationalities. So I think it's a great mix here for you to not only learn from staff and faculty, but also fellow students as well.
I think there's 26 countries represented in our class of 280 students. Absolutely diverse, and it's interesting now that we've been here, now that we're into our second quarter, people from all over are chiming in more, whereas maybe they were shy or up front. And I think it's very inclusive. We actually had a component to our orientation week, which addressed diversity. It was called Get Into the Game, and everyone had to get up and do improv and do things in the classroom which sort of force you to get out of your chair and become an active part of the university. There's also cultural events, which is, when I was coming here from a city as large as San Francisco, I wasn't sure if we'd have a broad, inclusion aspect to campus here, and we absolutely do. I think the classroom is really diverse and accepting.
Yeah, we also, teamwork is really vital here, and so we have, they put you together on these study group teams that you have to work through. They're usually groups of 5, and they try to make it pretty diverse. And I have found that to be pretty useful, and that people, I might not be as strong in certain areas than they are, and I found it to be fairly helpful. But yeah, one of the things, like I said, that brought me here is the people that I met are just some of the most impressive people and what they've done. I thought I accomplished some stuff, but it's like people who've started their own businesses and done really amazing things, but they're really, really down to earth, and that, I feel like I can strike up a conversation with anyone.
How heavy have you found the workload?
Workload in the first year is significantly more than it has been thus far this year, mainly because of non-academic pursuits, job search activities, a lot of research that goes on. Plus, there are a lot of core courses that you need to take in the first semester, and that because people are unfamiliar with some of those subjects, it sort of gets everyone up to a baseline. They're a little bit more rigorous than sort of when you get further on, you get to pick your own schedule and take classes that you like or are interested in.
Workload, I think, honestly, like any other business school, the first year is quite demanding in terms of time you have to spend on assignments, classes, networking with the recruiters. So first year is definitely a trial by fire. But as you move on to the second year, you have your schedule is more relaxed. I think you have more of socializing and networking opportunities. Then you still do a lot of academics, but I think it's more about networking in second year.
Being honest, the workload is very demanding. You have to really make sure that you set your schedule in terms of priorities. I would say overall in terms of content that I found that, it's very doable, but just the volume of work that, you'll be expected to come in, learn, and assimilate on a day-to-day and on a weekly basis is pretty intense. So the workload is very manageable as long as you set your priorities and as long as you depend on your groups to get things accomplished. So, but, all in all, it's been a really good experience, great learning opportunities. And even though I've only been here 2 months, I see the world in a completely different light from the things that I've learned. I think that one of the big things about grad school is just opens your eyes up to a lot of different topics and a lot of different arenas that go on in your day-to-day life that you probably didn't think twice about before coming back to graduate school. So there's definitely a real-world application of what you're learning here on a day-to-day basis.
Can you describe the grading system?
We also are on the pass-fail system, and it takes a little bit of pressure off the grades aspect. That's not to say that people don't work hard, because we actually have, I think, more classes in our core than other schools tend to. And we don't have any days off, which I know some schools have days off. Doesn't mean that we work harder, but we certainly, pay attention to the grades. But I think the school views grading as a way of giving us the necessary feedback. But
It's not
also,
cutthroat.
It's not what?
It's not cutthroat.
It's
And
not
that's
cutthroat.
the thing
It's
that
absolutely
I really
a supportive
like.
environment.
Can you describe the student-faculty relationship?
Faculty have been outstanding. They're very friendly. They're known for being approachable. You can generally, see them either at social events, or you can just walk into their office and ask them a question. We're on a first-name basis with almost all of them. In fact, there are a few that will actually insist that you call them by their first name, and they won't let you call them doctor or professor or whatnot. So they've been great, and there's some world-renowned researchers here, professors that do a lot of work for private companies outside the university that bring that experience back into the classroom, and it adds real value.
I think the faculty is great. As you can see, a lot of the professors that teach in the school also have their own research practice, or they're consultant to the industry, or they're former senior bankers, senior consultants. So I think it really adds a real-life perspective in the teachings they bring to the class. The teaching is very good. I think the school does a very good job in that. And the group assignments and the exams really help you understand the concepts.
How have you found the facilities?
Facilities, we got wireless access everywhere. We got a trading room for students interested in investment management. And I think we have enough study rooms. We did have some problem initially a year back or so, but now that they've increased the number of study rooms, it's helped a lot.
Do you need a car to go to school here?
For Chapel Hill, yeah.
Yeah,
I think so.
there are students that don't have cars. You can take the bus, but actually one of the nice things is that we're all in carpools, so you save on gas money. It's more green to commute, and you sort of have your study team and then your carpool friends, and so it's a good way to meet people. There are people that, for instance, like married couples, maybe they share a car, and so they don't have use of the car every day, like the one person in the couple who's a student, and that's really not a problem. I mean, right now we're actually waiting for our carpool to saddle up and head off for the day. So you typically can hang out here in the cafe and find rides home, especially if you live in an area that's pretty popular among MBA students.
One of the things I thought was really great is when we got our orientation packs. I mean, they made it very clear where most of the MBA students live, and so we're in one of the most highly dense populated. So there's always a ride to be found, and you give someone else a ride, they owe you favors. It's totally fine. They are building actually more housing now, so there's more people who are living in walking distance.
Oh, actually, yes, you do. I think for most purposes you do. You can depend on a roommate, but at some point you have to get a car because you have different schedules. You have maybe different interviewing schedules or different clubs you want to go to, different social schedules. So yeah, I think it's important.
Yes. There are people that do without. There are couples that come here that have one car that do fine. And there are people that come here, mainly exchange students, some foreign students that live closer to campus that don't need a car. I would highly recommend having a car. It makes life easier.
A car is definitely convenient. If you don't have a car here at UNC, I think you can still get around pretty good. They have a good transportation system with the buses. I think one of the biggest things I found here is fellow students are always willing to help you out in terms of giving you rides, making sure that they're accessible in terms of transportation. So if you don't have a car, don't stress it. You'll definitely be okay.
What's the social life like at the school?
It's Chapel Hill. I don't think you can find a more social environment.
It's one little street called Franklin, but there's a lot of good times to be had there.
Yeah.
And Duke students hang out as well with us. So it's almost like we have a class of our 280 plus the second year class plus Duke, which is over, I think, 500 per class. So there's many options and other graduate programs around the area as well.
Yeah, and there's a lot of trying to reach out. I know Carolina Women in Business, which is the women business program, and then one of the clubs that we're in is Net Impact, which is the sustainability club, and we're actually reaching out to NC State as well. So really trying to make use of all the schools that are here.
I think socially it's absolutely one of the best places. We got a small school, which means a small class size, and a lot of socializing takes place either within the school or out in the town of Chapel Hill on Franklin Street. And I think it's great. We got club activities, we got career-related activities, we have a great partners club which takes care of the families of the students. So it's been a great experience.
It's got to be one of the best out there, definitely. I have friends that have gone to business schools in other cities, Chicago, Boston, California, San Francisco in particular. And UNC is pretty much known for having one of the best social lives out of any of the business school programs. I think that comes from the people that come here, and sort of fulfill a certain cultural aspect, and it all goes into the quality of life and other issues.
This area from a social perspective is awesome. I mean, you've got Chapel Hill, Raleigh-Durham, you've got the beaches 2 hours away, you've got the mountains in Asheville. So in terms of getting out, having a social life, it's awesome here. I think that one of the big things this area can pride itself on is between Duke, UNC, NC State. You're not going to find the amount of colleges per square foot, in any place in the country. So definitely in terms of getting out, meeting other students, being able to go out to bars, social, hang out, have a good time, this area is awesome for it. And I definitely recommend anybody who's really looking to get out and enjoy extracurricular activities, this area is great.
What do you like or dislike about Chapel Hill?
The weather, Carolina basketball. Probably two great things that go on here. Summer basically runs through October. The winter here is very short and very mild. And the spring comes very early. So I've noticed in the past 3 classes that I've seen here, there seems to be an increasing number of young people from up north moving to go to schools down here in this area. I figured I'd have to fly in on a crop duster or something, and it's not quite like that. There's an international airport that's 15 minutes away, and you can get, it's got non-stop flights to New York, Boston, Chicago, London, Miami. And yet it's a sort of very livable place. There's no intense traffic problems. There are plenty of grocery stores to get to. Everything is pretty much within a 10 or 15 minute drive. And coming from a place where a commute could easily take an hour to an hour and a half, it's just made a significant improvement in my level of happiness. I've had round trip flights from RDU to Boston, anywhere from $250 down to $79, depending on the airline, the day that you're flying. And the airport its activity is increasing too as more businesses move down here. So this area is definitely growing and up and coming. There's no snow. It's a very young area, so there are a lot of people that are under 35. There are a lot of people that have moved here from the north because their companies have moved here. Cost of living is extremely low. There are a fair number of other graduate students and graduate programs in the area. So there are a lot of graduate students sort of between the ages of 25 and 35. As I've described, my friends back home will think I was nuts for moving down south. It's an easy place to live.
Have you found UNC to be expensive?
As far as the academics are concerned, your tuition and fees would be comparable to any other school, Wharton or Stern. But in terms of your living cost, it's going to be lower because it's a small town, the rents are lower. It costs less to buy a house here if you're planning to buy a house like I did. You have to have a car very soon. So I think that would be one of your expenses you wouldn't have in a big city. But overall, distances are small. Most people live within 2 or 3 miles of the school, and the buses are free in the city any time of the day. So I think that's a great saving too.
Do the MBA students get behind the sports at the school?
I think this being a basketball town, people are absolutely very proud to be part of UNC, and the facilities and the job prospects and the quality of professors. I think most of my friends are very happy.
Have you found being female to be an advantage or disadvantage?
We're minorities here in that we're female, and I don't think you feel that or you sense that in
Yeah,
a negative way.
I came here with no business background, and one of the things when I was looking at schools was I was concerned whether that was really going to be a detriment. And being female, where this is one of the highest percentages, and just business schools don't really have a very high percentage of females. So I have found that this school really does everything it can to bring people up to speed. There's a summer program you can do if you want to get caught up in some quantitative skills, and the extra help sessions, and the professors keep their office hours, and so that adjustment has been easier for me, and that was one of the reasons why I came here.
Can you see any downside to going to school at UNC?
The only downside would probably be, because we're not a huge metropolitan city like a New York, like an LA, like a Chicago. We may not have access to a lot of the big mega corporations, but we still get those companies to come down, do company presentations, actively recruit students here. So I would say, all in all, I don't think there's a huge drop-off from being down here, but I do think if students are interested in companies in those big areas that don't come and actively recruit here, you have to put in a little bit more effort to reach out to them.
What kind of person might not be happy here?
If you can't do without living in a major city, I think this probably might not be a good place for you. But for everything else, I think this is a great place.
Someone who doesn't want to be here, maybe someone that doesn't have any school spirit. People here really like the program. It's very student-centric. They ask us for feedback daily.
Yes.
If you
Get
go to
surveys all the
a
time.
speaker or an Office of Career Services event, you walk out the door with a thing in your hand, and it takes 2 minutes, and you fill out, checkbox yes, no, or how happy were you on a scale of 1 to 5. And so it's very, progressive in that regard. So if someone's looking for a really specialized MBA where they come out almost with a master's degree in finance or in a certain area, I would say this is more of a broad. We are on the quarter system, so you have an opportunity to take a lot of classes versus a semester system where you probably get a little more in depth and take less classes. But it's really a general management degree, and it is when you make it.
Yeah, I think you need to be flexible because it is set up a little bit different than some of the other programs, and not necessarily worry. If your main goal is you want all A+, this probably isn't the place, because A, that would be really, really difficult to do, and 2, there's not really that letter kind of grade. Yeah, they really do take the feedback. They've changed stuff like midway or between classes and stuff, so you should be someone who really likes to be involved.
How strong have you found the recruiting at Kenan-Flagler?
I think the recruiting has definitely taken, it's much better this year compared to the last couple of years. And especially the second year students are seeing a lot more interest from companies from different industries.
What has surprised you most about your experience here at UNC?
Probably the international presence, both in terms of the program, the courses that we take, the students that are here, and the opportunities that we have to go other places. That I was surprised by. For being a smaller business school located in North Carolina, I didn't necessarily expect the sort of international exposure that UNC has.
What advice do you have for prospective MBA students looking at business schools in general, and UNC in particular?
One big thing that, a lot of students, I think, fail to do when they come to graduate school that I think is really key, is really network and bond with your classmates, because 5-10 years from now, these are going to be the corporate CEOs, these are going to be key successful players in all types of industries. So make sure you come here, have fun, get to know your classmates, really develop a bond with them that's going to last you a lifetime.
I say go visit.
That's what I was going to say.
I applied to 7 schools. I was accepted at a few and chose to come here from San Francisco, which wasn't cheap, and it was a last-minute decision. But I think a lot of the admissions programs, believe it or not, they'll see a lot of applicants that are similar to you, and what sets you apart is your passion, your enthusiasm, and your fit. And there really is a kind of a fit and a culture to every school, and it's more than just the rankings. I would also look for a school that has not only an end in mind, but a means to the end, and maybe they're going to say, we want to be a top 10 school, or we want to be a top 20, or whatever it is, but they need a strategy in place. And I see that strategy playing out every day here, but there are certain schools that don't have the leadership in place that you might be looking for. So it's really just what you're looking for, but when you visit, you'll see if that school has what you're looking for.
Yeah, my number one thing was definitely visit it and talk to the students that are there, because that really made a big difference. And the feedback that I got, I mean, I emailed some of the people here in between when I was deciding, and every single person wrote back to me and was just really giving. And that, again, played a large role in my decision to come here. But the other thing I would say, she was talking about the rankings, is if you know kind of what you want to go into, look for schools that are better in that. Doesn't matter where they are in the overall ranking, if they're top 10 or 20, as long as if they're going to have the faculty that you need to help you in your concentrations.
I agree, and I think even if the school isn't geographically where you want to work, as long as it's not a super far stretch, I think it's more important to get the groundwork and the classes that you want. And for instance, certain concentrations like real estate, I know it's a big deal here at UNC. I know not all schools offer as many breadth of classes in that, so that's something to look out for. Is just is there one or two teachers, or are there more? And if they go on hiatus for a while and they take some time off, are there other teachers there that can get you what you're looking for?
Do your research, do your homework before you jump into things, because I think that I know some people from other schools, or even from if they jumped into it too quickly, they maybe were a little bit shocked. But there was no surprises for me. I knew about the teamwork. I knew about the study groups. I was forewarned that the first year here is really hard, so I'm not surprised by any of it.
I would also say go with your gut. It's not all about the rankings, and I don't say that because I'm embarrassed by rankings, because I'm absolutely not. But I do think that students get caught up in the rankings, and there may be a difference of 5 in the rankings or whatever. And I think you have to go where you fit in, and where it's financially right, and where the classes are right, and that kind of thing. And so it's easy to get caught up on certain things, but if you just prioritize maybe your top 3 things that you want, that's kind of at the end of the day what you need to go with that gut.
I think it's very important that you visit the school where you are applying to or where you have offers from, because that can help you really decide if the school or the community is for you or not. And that helped me make a decision to come to UNC. I like the community, I like the support from the professors and the admission staff. So it's very important you do that. And secondly, be very aware of the location. If you want a big city location, then maybe you should apply to big city schools. But I think the small town also does a very good job.
Recruiters love to recruit here because of the culture. And I would say UNC's number one asset to students would probably be its cultural fit, and that the importance of that. In relation to other business schools, I think UNC is different substantially than some of the traditional schools. So I would advise them to look at UNC because of that, and when they come to visit here, to pay special attention to the lifestyle here and the culture and the types of students that go through this program, the staff and faculty that work here. Don't underestimate the importance of culture. Don't just go somewhere because of a name. You're going to be with a group of people for a 2-year period of time, and don't underestimate that impact on your psyche and your ability to perform, and that being happy in your life is equally as important to your success as the academic benefits of the program.
If you are a student, then absolutely, like I said, come and visit the school during sitting on a class and talk to the professors, talk to your future seniors or classmates. And besides that, I think you can't really go wrong by coming to UNC.
So you made the right choice?
I think so.
Heck yeah.
Hell yeah.
We just had last week off, so
Right.
we're nice and renewed for mod too. If you asked us right after finals, we might have been a little tired, but yeah, we're glad to be here.